Finally to wake up. So again, if you're just joining, my name's Jamie. I'm joined by Jane and Heather. We all work as wildlife care specialists here in Basecamp. And our very special ambassador that's going to make his way out, hopefully, into the trees, his name is Picante.
I knew it.
And he's one of my favorites. Anyone that's over here that can see him, guess what kind of animal he is? What do we think?
Handsome.
He is a porcupine, so let's make sure we stay on the other side of the fence. We want to, so that we don't spook him, because sometimes he can get a little nervous. So he is a porcupine, and porcupines are in the rodent family, so related to rats and mice. He's particularly a prehensile-tailed porcupine, also known as a Brazilian tree porcupine. So as he comes out, there he goes. Takes him a minute to get comfortable. As he comes out, you'll notice his long tail. He has a prehensile or grabbing tail. That means he can wrap it around tree branches and hang from it. He can also use it like an extra hand when he's climbing to help him climb through the trees a little more efficiently.
Got some corn.
So what's something we know about porcupines? What do they have all over them? What do they have? Spikes or quills. Yeah, he's got quills from the bridge of his nose all the way down to the base of his tail. And those quills are barbed, just like a fish hook. So what happens is if a porcupine gets scared, gets nervous, their protection is to make those quills stand up on end. So just like when we get goosebumps and the hair stands up on us, they can do that on cue. So all their quills stand up on end, and if something touches them, those quills are actually gonna come out in whatever that animal's paw or face or whatever touched the porcupine. So it's a great defense, great protection, because they are a prey animal. So they are an animal that's going to be living in the rainforest in Brazil, in the Amazon rainforest. And there's a lot of big predators out there that might want them as a snack. So can you think of any predators that might live in the Amazon that might go after porcupines? What do you think? Cheetah's a good guess. I heard it though. Jaguars. So jaguars live in South America. Cheetahs live in Africa, but that's a really, really good guess. So yeah, jaguars, big cats, ocelots, also maybe big birds of prey like the harpy eagle, or maybe even a really big snake with a young porcupine. So they always have to be on the lookout, which is why Picante sometimes takes a minute to look around, make sure everybody seems safe. That's also why we want to make sure we stay on the outside of the railing, because this is kind of his safe space. And he knows that this area is going to be safe for him. But every once in a while, we do have his carrier back there. If he gets a little nervous, if he hears a sound, he can go back in for a moment, take a breath, take a reset, and then hopefully come back out. So yeah, they have all those quills on them. Who's heard that porcupines can shoot those quills? Have you heard that? Do you think it's true?
Gosh.
You think so? You think Jane would be that close if he could shoot his quills? No, they can't shoot their quills, but like I said, those quills will actually come out. They shed them, just like a dog or a cat sheds their hair. Same idea, but they're really sharp. So their biggest protection is just to look scary, look big, and hope that nothing comes up near them. So porcupines are, like I said, in the rodent family. So can anyone tell what he's eating? I don't know if you saw that when he came out. Could you see? What do you think? Plants? Corn? Yeah, nuts. He is going to be an herbivore. So what does an herbivore eat? Raise your hand if you think they eat meat.
Herbs.
Raise your hand if you think they eat plants. Yeah, you guys are right. They eat plants. So he is going to be really important in the rainforest. He's going to eat fruits, vegetation, leaves, branches. He's going to be chewing on things all the time. So porcupines, just like rats and mice and squirrels, have those ever-growing front teeth, constantly chewing on things to keep those worn down. That's actually really beneficial in the rainforest because they do a good job of chewing on all the dead wood and keeping things healthy, keeping things growing, and getting rid of kind of the old dead stuff on the rainforest floor. So there we go. He's going to show you guys. He's munching on some corn. Now, looking at Picante, my favorite part of his whole body is that nose. So if you're looking at an animal, you can tell their best sense by what's the biggest on their face. So what do you guys think is the biggest or the best sense that he has? His nose, his sense of smell. So his eyesight is actually not very good, which is normal with a lot of prey animals, but it also can contribute to things, maybe movement, things being a little, making him a little nervous. So we like to show him around by using that nose. You'll notice Jane is using positive reinforcement. She's showing him the food, she's showing him where she wants him to go. And then once he goes there, he gets that reinforcement, he gets that reward. So corn is one of his favorites. He also loves walnuts. So those are kind of probably the two things he's going to eat today. And then we also have that, we call it a lollipop target. So that ball, he's actually trained to touch his nose to that as well. So we kind of move it around so he can see it a little better. And he will walk up and touch his nose to that. And he knows when he does that, he also gets a reinforcement. So now he's doing really well. While he's hanging out here before he decides to head back, do we have any questions about Picante? Anything you're wondering today?
Are they a nice, clean, cuddly type animal?
Are they a cuddly, clean animal? Do you guys want to cuddle him? I do.
Yes.
I do. I want to give him a big hug, but I don't think it would end very well.
No.
They also are a little gross and stinky. So porcupines have a really strong smell. Because they have such a good sense of smell, that's actually how they communicate with each other, is through their odor, through their scent. And they smell like a teenage boy's locker room. Doesn't smell great. So they do have a really, really strong, stinky smell. And sometimes their quills have a yellowish tint to them. Any guesses what that might be? It's pretty gross. Yeah.
Urea.
So they are not clean, they are not cuddly, but we still think he is absolutely adorable. Yeah. Do they use their stink to defend themselves? That's a great question. I have not heard of porcupines using that smell to defend themselves. It's more kind of leaving a scent trail behind for other animals to find, so other animals know that they were there. But not necessarily like you're thinking maybe a skunk to spray and defend themselves. I have not heard of them doing that. But they are pretty stinky, so if I was a predator, I probably wouldn't want to go near them. Yeah, did you have a question up front? Do they eat bugs? He might eat bugs on accident. That's a good question. So because he's eating plants, because he's eating leaves and branches, he might find some bugs on accident and munch on those to get a little extra protein, but he wouldn't eat them on purpose. He doesn't think they taste very good. So he is a little nervous. You guys feel the wind? To us, it's hardly anything. Picante hates wind. So anytime there's a little bit of a breeze, it's the worst thing in the world. So you can see him shaking off, he's rubbing his head, the wind touched him. So Jane's gonna try to convince him to come back out. But he has been here, he's about 5 years old now. He's been here for about 4 years, and he actually did not come here to be an ambassador. He came here as part of the species survival plan, as part of our breeding program, to breed with one of our females. They were successful, they had a baby almost a year ago. And we noticed when we were working with him, taking care of him and things, that he was really curious about us. He seemed really comfortable around his trainers and around his care specialists. He really was interested in the food that we had to offer. So we're like, let's try it and let's see if he is going to be good coming out as an ambassador. And it took about 2.5 years to get him comfortable, and he still has some days where he's a little nervous, but for an animal that did not grow up as an ambassador, I think he does a great job. Yeah.
Are they territorial?
Are they territorial? They can be. So they are fairly solitary. That means that they're going to live kind of in their own tree, in their own space. And while they will sometimes share that tree with other porcupines, for the most part, they're only going to come together during breeding season, and then they are going to kind of head off in their own area. So yeah, they don't necessarily want to compete for resources with those other porcupines. So now you guys are getting a good look at his tail, maybe see his teeth, his big nose, and then those whiskers. You see those whiskers? Because he doesn't see all that well, those whiskers are just like a cat whiskers, but they are actually all down the side of his body. So he can feel things as he's climbing through the trees. He can feel vibrations. That's also probably why the wind bothers him so much, because it feels like something's touching him and it's probably uncomfortable. But he deals with it. Yeah, did you have a question?
How long do they live?
How long do they live? They can live into their late teens or maybe even early 20s. So he's still very young, and he's full grown, but he's still kind of growing up and learning. He's on the younger side for sure. Hey, did we have, I thought I saw a couple other hands, yeah.
What other prehensile tail porcupines do you have?
What other prehensile tailed porcupines do we have? We actually have 3 of them at the zoo. So we have Picante here. We have his mate Gracie, and then they both live in Basecamp. And then we have one more named Paquito that is their baby. He's about a year old, and he lives down at Africa Rocks Encounters. So if you head down there, sometimes they'll have him out on the presentation space there, and you can get a chance to see him. But he looks a lot like Dad, and he's almost as big as Dad now. Well, he's going to probably come in and out maybe a couple more times as Jane works with him. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed meeting Picante. He's one of our favorites, so we always love when we get a chance to share him with you because, like I said, all of our prehensile tail porcupines live behind the scenes. So you're the only ones probably that will get to see one today.
San Diego Zoo.
So thank you again for visiting the zoo.